This is some polling that YouGov have just published. Two-thirds, and remember, these people are choosing our next Prime Minister, two-thirds of Conservative Party members believe that parts of Britain operate under Sharia law. A new poll has shown. And it's also found that half of Tories believe, I'm just going to triple check the date actually, because that actually brings up, no, 51 minutes ago this was published. Half of Conservative members believe in the myth of no-go zones where non-Muslims are not able to enter. Astonishing. 39% thought Islamist terror attacks reflected widespread hostility to Britain among the Muslim community, which of course is easily diffused by pointing out that they don't distinguish between Muslims and non-Muslims when they're trying to kill people in the way that white supremacists generally do, but not always. But that is why we are where we are. Nick Clegg this morning. Nick Clegg, someone I quite like. There you go. Utterly despicable what he's doing this morning, denying the manipulation of voters and of Facebook users by vested interests and also by Russia. Most of the available evidence suggests there is a case to answer, possibly not as big a case as some contend, but for him to try to argue this morning that there's no case at all while trousering a huge salary from Facebook is profoundly questionable and deeply disappointing. You see, you can say this stuff. It's not difficult. Although, of course, Nick Clegg did go into coalition with David Cameron and became a sort of co-author of austerity. So historically, I suppose, I'm not that much on the same page as him. I've met him and I've liked him. But these are the issues here. This is, where else do you get this from if not from Facebook? How does someone sitting in Dorset end up convinced that parts of Britain operate under Sharia law? It's something that's so utterly bonkers it doesn't even merit mention. Or indeed that there are no-go zones where non-Muslims are not able to enter. And the answer is simple. They read about it in made-up forum. They see photographs that have either been manipulated or completely lied about, and they end up scared. And the whole point is that people like me need to take on board. You can't insult them because they're scared. I've got this wrong in the past. I can't insult you if you believe that parts of Britain operate under Sharia law or that non-Muslims are not able to enter parts of my hometown. I can't, because your reaction is visceral, it's emotional, it's real. Someone has shouted fire in your ear and you've run. You've panicked and you've legged it. And the decision that you've made to run away at breakneck speed is based entirely upon the person who shouted fire in your ear. Now, the fact that the person who shouted fire in your ear is a liar, that doesn't make your reaction stupid or even racist. I suspect you could probably make a case for pointing out that if we talk about Beth Din courts, which some members of the Jewish community refer to in matrimonial and civil matters, you wouldn't be quite as panicked as the so-called Sharia courts, which are the Islamic equivalent, or at least very, very similar. But that's not something I'm going to beat you up about. That's just progress, hopefully. You'll start feeling the same way about both, i.e. relaxed or ambivalent as we make progress. But because that is why Boris Johnson is untouched. This is my theory, all right? And if it falls to pieces in the coming weeks, that's fine. But when he talked about Muslim women, very, very deliberately, it was designed to appeal to these people. So when you look at Donald Trump's ascent to the White House and this really weird demonization of Muslims, really weird, because the numbers there are, I mean, compared to the numbers here are, I think, negligible. But it worked. People in America are terrified of no-go zones and Sharia law. You don't have to dig deep into the back alleys of Twitter to find people in Texas who think they know more about London than people in London. And they're convinced of it. They think there's a fire. And Donald Trump has promised either to put it out or to build a big wall and protect them from it. You see how it works? Build a wall, yeah? So if it were to emerge that the man who essentially put Donald Trump up to doing that was also claiming to have great influence over Boris Johnson, and then you added to that the fact that two-thirds of the Conservative Party believe that parts of Britain operate under Sharia law, you could, if you were a Muslim or if you were a humanitarian who cared about your fellow man and woman, you could be forgiven for feeling rather spooked by that.